Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to talk to you today about recycling, and I'm going to start off. This is a trash bag that I actually pulled out this morning from right inside of, yeah, it's not, from right outside my building of my apartment, and I haven't tampered with it at all, but I just wanted to show you some things in it. So there's like obviously the regular food trash, which, whatever. But there's also tons of bottles throughout it. I'm not going to go through the whole thing because I don't know what kind of stuff college kids put in the trash can. But there's trash, but as you can see, even in this trash, there's more water bottles and other recyclables. So that just gives you an idea. It's a huge trash bag, and I'd say probably like 60% just from scanning through is recyclable. So a lot of you have heard the term recycling, but you might not know exactly like what it is. So recycling is processing used materials or waste into new products to prevent waste of potentially useful materials, reduce the consumption of fresh raw materials, reduce energy use, reduce air and water pollution, and lower greenhouse emissions. So the University of Maryland Sustainability Group makes a lot of effort in posters, etc., to increase recycling throughout campus. So the campus recycling rate has increased from 17% in 2003 to 57.4% in 2009, which is a really pretty big increase. So the first thing is glass is the first type of recycling. There's a lot of different things that you can recycle, but one of the biggest ones is glass because pretty much every glass material can be recycled. There's not really a limit. Glass can be recycled for forever. You can continue to recycle it as it's recycled. You can use it like continue. It doesn't have like a limit. It takes approximately 1 million years for a glass bottle to break down in the landfill, which is a really long time. Most of the bottles that you have now are at least 25% recycled. So for a Maryland student, this could include things like, well, obviously alcohol bottles are a really large amount of our glass material. But for those of you in apartments, you also have like tomato sauce, like all your food containers and such stuff like that. So another recyclable thing is aluminum. Recycling 125 cans can power a home for an entire day, which is a really long time. One can by itself can power a 100-watt light bulb for 20 hours, a computer for 3 hours, or a TV for 2 hours. For a Maryland student, a lot of us drink a lot of soda or a lot of energy drinks for studying, and that is a huge amount of aluminum cans. There's also, again, all the food products that you have, which produce a lot, and just over the bars or whatever you do on the weekend, a lot of beer cans are consumed as well. Paper is another from school. If you're not just talking about the waste that you use in your home or in your apartment or when you party on the weekend, paper is another huge one, especially as we all go to class. A lot of your papers that you do or your old class notes or your old projects, you end up just throwing them away, but really they can all be recycled. This includes also cardboard when you're eating in your apartment, any like frozen foods or like cereal boxes, any food products. So there are more than 500,000 trees to produce newspapers that Americans read each Sunday, and only 30% of those are recycled. 1 ton of high-grade paper substitutes 3 tons of wood in making new paper products, and 1 ton of paper can save 17 trees, 3 cubic yards of a landfill, 2 barrels of oil, 7,000 gallons of water, and 4,100 kilowatt hours of electricity, which is 1 home for 5 months. Also, the last one is plastic, which actually is 1/3 of our trash, and that's what I showed you, a lot of the plastic bottles in this trash bag. Plastic takes 100 to 400 years to break down in a landfill, and every year there's enough plastic in the United States to shrink wrap Texas. So you can just imagine how much that is. So a lot of University of Maryland students have a lot of water, especially here because PG County water is actually not drinkable. So a lot of people have water bottles and they end up just getting thrown out in the trash. So what can you recycle? For glass, you can recycle all of glass. Any glass product can be recycled. Aluminum, you can recycle cans, but no foil or pie cans. For paper, you can recycle any clean paper, but nothing that is waxy or has food residue on it. And plastic, as long as it's clean labeled, and they're all labeled number 1 to 7, so are the ones you can recycle. So no styrofoam or like really heavy plastic, which is why the plastic bottles have gotten like eco-friendly, is because they're using their plastic is easier to recycle. So So this is a recycling bin that we have in Commons, and just an example, it used to be labeled, but it got ripped off. But there's a different section for plastic, paper, and bottles, so it's a university trying to promote recycling throughout campus. So now that you know the facts about recycling, which is really important in recycling properly, because if you don't recycle properly, it kind of ruins the whole point, you can make a more educated decision and be able to recycle properly, so it's more effective.